Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Tim and Jim. But where's Jim today? Jim is in Louisiana, I think, running social media for a veterans conference, which I think is so awesome. So I wish the best of luck to Jim. But I'm excited to have Jamie Samples here to talk about what you need to know before hiring a business coach. Thank you so much for being here today, Jamie.
Well, thank you, Tim and Jim, for having me today.
Yes. And I met Jamie at Social Media Marketing World last year and got to spend a little time with her. And we have a mutual friend with Lindsay Anderson, which was very funny. And we took a selfie and sent it to her right away. Right, Jamie?
Yes, that was just, well, the world is so small, and sometimes we forget that. So we just met at a restaurant, we were chatting and we're like, we know the same person. So it's pretty awesome.
Exactly. So Jamie, tell us about yourself and what you do.
Okay. Well, as you said, my name's Jamie and I have a marketing company. I actually work with mostly equine businesses which is horse people. And so I've been doing it for about 15 years. It seems like a lifetime. And I do social media strategy, consulting, all kinds of done for you services. And I just love it. It's so much fun. Well, because I get to meet people like Tim and Jim as far as on the marketing side. So it's just been wonderful. And I absolutely love what I do. It's really fun.
That is awesome. So Jamie, today we're going to talk about business coaches. But first we want to thank all of our viewers for being here. So if you're watching, whether you're here live or on the replay, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your support. So Jamie, let's start out with our first question. Why should you hire a business coach in the first place, and under what kind of circumstances?
Well, that can be a loaded question, but I'm going to share some little bit of stories too from kind of my journey through 15 years.
Awesome.
I'm not a sports person, but in this instance, I will talk about kind of a sports analogy. Anyone that plays, and I rode horses, which is a sport. If anyone's wondering, it's a full-fledged sport. It's in the Olympics. So I rode horses growing up and I was always trying to get better, right? You're always trying to excel in what you do and you want to learn new things. And my mom tried to teach me, but I was really stubborn. And she's like, finally, I'm done. We're getting you a coach. Like, we're getting you a trainer to work with you and your horse. And I was naturally a really good rider growing up. Not great in sports, but in riding, I did great. And the thing is, everyone that really wants to excel, it doesn't matter if it's golf, if it's horses, if it's business. I think as business owners, sometimes we're like, well, we're super passionate and we have all of this like energy that we're going to put towards running this business. But there's other people that have gone before us that have made the mistakes, that have done things we haven't. They can see from the outside of what we're doing and give us that advice that we need. I mean, look at NBA players. We've all heard that example. Like, look at all of the big wigs, right? They all have coaches. All the big entrepreneurs, you could list a million of them, say like coaching is a big deal. So, under what circumstances? In my opinion, if you're a business owner, you just need to have a coach. You need to have a coach. And I know we're going to probably touch on some of these things with the other questions as well.
Sure.
And one of those, a lot of things that comes up with people is like, well, I'm just starting in business. Like, I don't have the money to hire a coach. And I think we'll talk about that because I have some passionate things to share about that too. But I think, so many people, especially when you're an entrepreneur, a lot of us are out there doing this on our own. We might work from home or a small office and have a small team. And it can get lonely. Having someone that you're accountable to, that you can bounce ideas off of, is absolutely incredibly valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll admit, I'm kind of skeptical about coaches, not because I've worked with one coach once and it wasn't for a long period of time. And I probably should have given him a longer chance. But I'm kind of at the point again, I'm like I want my business to grow faster and I don't really know the best way to do it. So this kind of leads into this next question, Jamie, is oftentimes you're making a pretty significant investment with a coach. So how do you go about choosing the right coach for you? Because right? We all have different kinds of businesses. So how do you find that right person?
Well, it can be really hard. That's, I think, part of the challenge. And you mentioned, how much am I going to spend on a coach, right? I think, first of all, you need to interview a few. The best way that I know how to find a good business coach is to, for example, there's a huge woman entrepreneur Facebook group that I'm a part of. And I think there's I don't know, 30,000 women or something, or maybe more than that. It's pretty huge. And you can go in there and there's going to be thousands of women that are like, I'm a business coach. Okay, well, are you really? I mean, because frankly, I know a few people that are business coaches and I'm like, listen, you can't even manage your life. You can't. So yes, there are frauds out there, but there are also amazing people that are incredibly qualified. So how do you choose?
Right.
Some of us have to choose based on literally our finances. And yes, people can say, well, you have a limiting thought belief system and you can go into all the mindset stuff. I'm not opposed to having a great business mindset, but you also, for example, a brand new entrepreneur, probably it wouldn't be the wisest thing to do to sign on with a business coach that was $5,000 a month. Now, I'm not saying maybe it's an extraordinary coach, but I'm also saying there are coaches that have programs out there that are legitimate, that are kind, that will push you, that will hold you accountable, and you will not give them your left arm or another limb. You won't have to go into debt. And maybe you might have to put it on a credit card, but it's small enough to where you have an actionable plan. I definitely say ask for recommendations. And don't just say I like this person. Give me details of why. Talk to people that have actually used them for coaching before for that specific service, because some people offer multiple services.
Right.
And then talk to them. Have a conversation with them. There are some people you are not going to jive with. I have also myself, Tim, I've worked with people and I was like, why did I pay that person this much money for that?
Sure.
But there's other people I was like, I only was going to budget this much money, but I'm going to spend more because she totally gets me or he totally gets me. And I feel comfortable divulging personal information to this person. Because part of being in a coaching situation is being vulnerable and sharing information about even sometimes your personal life, because that affects your business. So how do you choose the right coach? I don't know that there's an exact blueprint, but it has to be someone you like. It has to be someone you respect, that's respected in your community. But I will say this, it does not have to be someone in your industry or someone that has an understanding of your industry. That was one of those preconceived things for me. I work in the horse industry, and Tim, you and I were talking, the horse industry, they're weird people. I mean, there's good weird and there's bad weird, but it's just a load of weird people. And they do things a lot differently. And, in my first call with my business coach, I was like, I need to tell you, these people work differently than regular consumers. So I had to educate her on that. But I think choosing the right coach is someone you trust and that you don't have to break the bank for. That's because I think when you have a coach, you're going to have more momentum. You're going to start making that income so that you can pay back the coaching fee, if you will.
Right. And hopefully beyond as well, right?
Yes, that's the goal.
Yeah. So once again, thank you all that are watching us live or on the replay. If you have any questions for Jamie, please put them in the comments. I'm sure she'd be happy to answer them. So Jamie, what are some of the benefits of having a business coach? Is it you want to make more money? What are some of the different reasons to have a coach? And maybe share a little bit about your journey as well. Yes,
I will. And this is the perfect question for me to do that. So the benefits of a business coach. Yes, of course we all want to make more money. Okay. But I feel like for me, and probably a lot of you watching, some of the other things that are more important to me right now than making six figures or whatever, the big goal is, I want to be more in control of my day, of my week, of my month. I want to know where my money's being spent. I want to know if I'm doing these 3 efforts, whatever those efforts are, that they're producing a result. I want to know, and I want someone to hold me accountable and be like, Jamie, you're a big time waster in this area of your business. You need to stop doing that. Sometimes we need that tough love. I mean, I have a 5-year-old little boy, and sometimes like I have to be like, no, son, no, like, don't do that, do this.
Right.
And it's because I have his best interest at heart. And when you find a business coach that you trust, for example, I mentioned I had a few before, and I've had random people that I've spent tons of money on, and I'm like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever done. I finally found someone who is amazing. I found her in basically a big mom entrepreneur Facebook group. I didn't ask to find a business coach. I just somehow had been seeing her comment on different threads, and I watched how she was commenting and her language and her responses. And then I went and watched some of her videos, and I then sought her out because I was like, I don't want someone who's going to be like, you're an idiot, you're doing all these things wrong.
Right.
But I do need someone to call me out and be like, that's maybe not the smartest. So I watched her and I was like, I really like this lady. Now, she hasn't been a coach that long, but I interviewed a few of her clients and said, why do you like her? What are the top 3 things you love about her? And so for me, I was like, take my money and let's get started. I was like, I put my first month on a credit card because I was like, I was heading into the Christmas season, and I was like, well, I need this. A new year is coming. I'm actually getting ready to sign on for my next 6-week session with her. So we've done 12 weeks together. And for me, I've been able to take control of the systems in my business, which as entrepreneurs, we're like really creative brained, most of us.
Right.
Usually we're not like the best at getting all of our systems set up. We're just like, let's do all the fun things.
That's me.
Yes, me too. But I'm like, if I'm going to scale my business, like I've made a really good amount of money this year. I'm really sitting in a great spot with my clients. But when I sign on with her, my daily routine, I am so much more focused. And the massive benefit to me, yes, I've made more money in the last 12 weeks, but I am more in control of my life. And I know if I don't get my crap done, someone's going to call me out on it. And that pressure for me, that little bit. So I'm a horse person. And so with horses, they work off of pressure and they do certain things because of pressure. And my business coach is giving me just enough pressure to keep me going forward, to keep the momentum going, to get those systems in place that give my mind a chance to relax. And yes, by the end of next year, I hope to get to my 6-figure goal. But even if I don't get exactly there, I will be more organized, more productive. I will know what's happening in all areas of my business. And peace of mind for me is like, it's priceless. So that's the biggest benefit for me.
For sure. Those are some really great points. And I totally resonate with the 5-year-old because I also have a 5-year-old.
Yes.
So definitely the aspect of managing your time better, balancing work, balancing family, focusing, right? That's a big part. So let's switch a little bit to what do you find are some of the biggest challenges of working with a business coach, or are there any?
Well, I don't think there's a ton, except for the fact that if you have been, and I'm speaking for myself, certain years in my life as an entrepreneur, I was just willy-nilly. I was like, oh, I got a new client. Well, that was luck, right? There was no reasoning behind it. So I had to, I guess if you want to consider it a challenge, I kind of had to restructure my week and get really, really focused, which was a challenge because when you're like all over the place and then you're like, I got to get focused. I think probably the biggest challenge, and I kind of touched on it before, was just the fact that I did choose to work with someone that does not know the horse industry. They don't know how to ride horses. They don't understand the people. But I just gave her a quick synopsis. And of course, I paid for her time to give her that lesson about my industry. But I don't think there's a ton of challenges. I mean, I think the biggest problem or challenge that most of us have is just getting started, taking that leap and saying, can I spend the money and invest in my business. And, I mentioned I've been in business 15 years and I've invested a lot of different things, with softwares and all the things, right, that you can.
Yeah.
For me, I just started working with a business coach like successfully this year. And it has made, looking back at 15 years, it has been the biggest and best investment that I've ever made in myself. Because you hear it all the time as an entrepreneur. Invest in yourself and your business. It's worth it.
Yeah, all the time.
But a lot of times the people that are saying that are the people that want your $5,000 a month also. So
exactly.
The challenge is finding the right person, being able to, schedule your week and kind of be ready for that pressure.
That's really cool. Because I think a lot of business people are thinking about the money part, right? They want to make more money. But that's really cool that having a business coach could also, help you focus more, help you, give you more freedom, but focus better and advance your business in more ways than just the bottom line, right?
Yes. But the bottom line helps, of course. And
of course. And that's the ultimate goal, right?
Yes. And I'll share something too. So I've been creating funnels for a long time for my business, like opt-in funnels to get people's email addresses, all the things again with marketing.
Right.
And I mean, I've created what I believed were really good funnels, but they weren't giving me the return that I thought. I created a funnel at the very beginning with my business coach. We went through every aspect of it together, all the upsells, the downsells, the side sells, all the things, right?
Yeah.
Here's the great thing. My offer is a $27 offer. So it's not like a break the bank and it's for the horse world and whatever. So it's very specific to my niche.
Mm-hmm.
Since I started, and I've been running it almost 30 days now, my goal was to make one sale a day. Now it's $27, right? It's not like I'm not going to be a millionaire tomorrow. I have sold at least one every single day for 30 days.
Wow.
For my funnel. So for me, it's like, even though that's one of those things, I'm starting to see parts of me and parts of my business excel in just these little, like, we're just accelerating a little bit, slow and steady. And so I'm reaching goals that I wasn't able to reach before, and it's building my self-confidence. So there's a million benefits, I think.
So what have you changed in the last 12 weeks that's helping you to accelerate and get these leads also?
Well, here's the thing. I've had someone that's holding a fire under my butt.
Right.
I mean, really, like she helped me set up the systems I needed. And, she of course looked at what I was doing and said, what's working, what's not, so she had like a bird's eye view, if you will.
Sure.
And said, okay, I see that these things you're spending way too much time. So she basically helped me streamline all my processes, which, like, holy cow, that was like, she made her money there. Like, I got a bargain, right? Because that was a lot of work for her. So we set all those up. She went through all those with me. And basically for me, I always like to overserve my clients, which is what I was doing, which is not a bad thing. But I was spending so much time doing extra stuff for my clients that I was not working on my own business, right. Writing my blogs, doing my lives, doing the things that create leads for me, that create money. So just knowing that I have a once a week call with her, and it's kind of like you don't want to disappoint your mom, right? Or your dad or whoever.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to come to a call and be like, I didn't do my homework. Like,
right.
And so I think for me, I mean, I'm very much a self-starter, but there is something incredible about accountability that you're paying for. I mean, right. I could have my best friend call me and be like, yo, friend, did you do the thing? If I don't do it, who cares? But like, I'm paying to have someone be like, do the work. And that's made all the difference, I think, for me.
Yeah, for sure. So that kind of leads into our next question, which is, what does accountability mean in terms of working with a coach? Like, she lights a fire under your butt, but how does she hold you accountable?
Well, and that's where you have to find someone that you really respect and you like, and that you can hear from. And some people are like, well, what do you mean? I mean, you need to give that room where someone can get in your face and not be defensive and just be like, yes, I hear what you're saying. I need to make the change. I'm resisting. But so for example, the way I have it set up with my business coach is we have a once a week call, which is only a half an hour, because once you get over a half an hour, like your brain just turns off. Yeah. So like a half an hour, we talk about, you know, what's going on, all the things. But during the week, we use an app called Voxer, which is basically like a walkie-talkie app. It's like the most miraculous app of my life. If you're not using it, you're crazy. So there's my recommendation.
What was it called again, Jamie?
It's Voxer. It's Voxer.
Okay, cool.
It's like a walkie-talkie app, but it records. Because, you know, if you have a 5-year-old, how many times do I get distracted, like during the day if he's home with me? Like 799. So it's hard to get on the phone with someone, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing is when you're brainstorming with someone, or you're trying to create like something, a funnel or some kind of something that an entrepreneur is brainstorming, going back and forth with someone on the phone sometimes just doesn't work. Voxer, you can go back and forth and leave each other messages. It's amazing. So getting back to the question of what does accountability mean for me with my specific coach, I mean, every relationship is going to be different, but it is very much like doors just swinging back and forth and back and forth. I will leave her a Voxer during the week and say, hey, I'm working on this. I need like immediate help with this right now. And she'll send me a quick Voxer back as soon as she can. And really, she constantly reminds me, you know, a lot of people will have a vision board and say like, okay, I want to drive a Ferrari or whatever, like all the things. Me, I'm like, I just want a big indoor arena and like chickens and horses and whatever. I'm weird, but that's awesome. all the things I want. Like I'm saving money for a puppy in the spring. So like she'll tell me, hey, Jamie, the efforts that you're working on now, you know, you said you wanted to pay off 2 credit cards. You wanted to buy a puppy. You wanted to pay off your car. She constantly holds my feet to the fire with that stuff because that's what's motivating me. Yes, just money is a good motivator, but knowing like I want an old English sheepdog. I want a woolly mammoth to come live at our house in May. You know, she's like, you want that. And so the efforts you're working on this week or the thing you didn't get done is keeping you away from that goal. So for me, and again, everyone has different motivators, but for me, that's how our relationship works. I almost have like unfettered access to her on Voxer. And then we have our once a week call. And then, you know, she just reminds me of all the things that drive me. And that makes it easier for me to complete my tasks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're really connecting your business to what your goals are in life, right?
100%. Yes.
That's really awesome. All right. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Jamie. We really appreciate it. How can people connect with you and what's next for you?
Well, 2020 is coming. You can find me on Facebook, Yellow Barn Media. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, it's a long story, but I'm under Equestrian Professional. And of course, you can find me on LinkedIn under Jamie Samples as well. Those are like my 3 favorite platforms. And you can check out my website, of course. It's yellowbarnmedia.com. And I mean, probably what's next for me, I'm signing on for another session with my business coach. I'm signing on next week to start for, you know, keep going for 2020. I'm going to be just I'm actually working on some coaching programs for the equine world. So that's going to be really fun because I feel like now, like I'm so excited about coaching. I was like, I need to offer that to my people and hopefully a puppy.
That's awesome. You have a lot of exciting things going on, Jamie.
Yeah, life is good. So thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Jamie. And thank you all you guys for watching, whether live or on the replay. And we will see you again next week on the Tim and Jim Show. Bye.